So recently, my friends over at Reformation Heritage Books sent me a couple of Bibles to review. A good friend of mine named Tyler Soul, he had been using or purchased one of these recently and had told me about it. I was really intrigued. This is, well, if you saw the title, you know what it is. It's the Reformation Heritage KJV Study Bible. Now, I'm not aware if they offer it in another version other than the KJV, but I don't. Even if you didn't typically use the King James version, the notes inside are still very good. Here on the back, if you want to see, here's the box. One of the biggest things that irks me about reviews of anything in general is the amount of time spent on the box. But I'm going to do it because it's tradition. You got some nice side. Some people, they find that it's really important to have stamping all the way around the edges of the box. Me, I couldn't care less. It's a clamshell, nice clamshell box. So, some people actually carry their Bibles in the boxes just to protect them. That's cool. You do you, boo. Anyway, so like I said, Reformation Heritage Books. It's run by Joel Beakey, very popular Reformed guy. Now, I myself am not Reformed, but that doesn't mean that I can't benefit from stuff like this, right? I listen to anybody and everybody, and I would say that I probably would agree with them a substantial amount more than I would disagree with them. But anyway, enough of this, right? Let's get to the actual Bible itself. Now, they sent me two, and I'll show you the other one. This one in particular, this is cool. Oh, interesting. So this one is the leather. Let's out of the way. This one is the black leather edition. Very nice, very, very high quality leather. It's pretty nice. We got some gold stamping here on the spine. And I'll do a nice close-up shot so you'll see what it looks like. Holy Bible on the front. Very simple, very to the point. I like it. Some nice gold gilding along the edges we see here. I believe it is sewn. It's Smythe sewn, so that's good. And like I said, I'll get a nice close-up shot of it in a minute here. But they sent me two, actually. So this one, like I said, is the black leather edition. See if it'll stand on its own. It does. Very cool. And it's, by the way, it's cowhide. Now, by the way, the black one says calfskin, and the brown one says cowhide. I don't know the difference. So if you guys out there, you Bible leather lore masters, if you could tell me the difference, I would love to know. What I can tell you, so here it is. It's a very dark brown. I really like that. The feel is different, totally different. This one feels more like your classic Bible. This one's almost more, I don't want to say suede because it gives the wrong impression, but I don't want to give the wrong impression because it's not, but it's very different. It's tackier, not like tacky isn't ugly, but very grippy. It's like the best thing I can think of is matte. Very, very nice. I like that. That's a nice dark leather. Same thing. Two, now the spines are different. And I like I said, I'll get a nice close-up shot of that. It's got two ribbon markers. They're brown, which makes sense. Now, each Bible, I see this tag that was in it. It says you have free online access to the Reformation Heritage KJV Study Bible. So it's some kind of account. I'm guessing it's a Bible study help. Very, very cool. So let's go ahead and get a nice close-up shot where we can really see the nitty-gritty and look at it up close. So here they are up close, you guys. These are the Reformation Heritage Study Bible, KJV. And this is the brown here, and this is the black. Now, I don't know if you can tell this, but see, even if you look at it in the light, the black kind of gives off a sheen where the brown does not. So if that's something that's important to you, I like it. I really like the brown, you guys. I think the brown looks cool. It's so different. Maybe it's because I'm jaded because I've seen so many black. Every Bible is almost black, that sometimes when I see something different, it stands out. But this feels, I really like that. I like that feel. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside because apart from the cover, they're identical. I'm just going to look at the black one. That just makes things simpler. Again, here's that card, which I don't want to hide that because I don't want you guys to see that. I think it's proprietary, but anyway. So here it is. And like I said, it is Smythe sewn. So you can see it's got a paste down liner on the inside. Now let's look at the outside here real quick. So again, it has these gilded like faux hubs. They're not actually raised. It is flat. It's got a nice little tail band here and some black ribbon markers. And again, real quick, actually, the brown one does have the same thing, but it's a little bit different. So let me put them side by side here. So the brown one just has a brown ribbon marker and brown ribbons, tailband, head and tailband, sorry. And this one's got like a gold red one with black. So that's the only difference between the two. So then down here, if we actually open it up, like I said, it's a paste down liner. And it actually has a nice little introductory page, which is pretty cool. A lot of Bibles don't have these anymore. But there's a reason for this, which is that this Bible is really focused on, more than anything else, I would say, is the family. It's like a family Bible. And I'll explain why in a minute. But it has the genealogies and records. You can place that in there, occasions to remember, and then boom, we're right into it. So again, the general editor here we have is Joel Beakey. So I don't know if you can see that right there. Reformation Heritage Books, Grand Rapids, Michigan. And then right now we're into it. So what I want to show you, yes, here it is. So this thing, you guys, is loaded to the max with notes. I mean, they got notes up the yin-yang. It's like crazy. So that apart from just the Bible, right, they have something which I've never seen this before. Not that it doesn't exist. I'm just saying is I've never seen it, which is in the back, the very end, they've got these articles, right? And they have an article for every century of church history all the way until today. And they also include all of the major creeds and confessions. And then they got all the other standard helps. So we'll look at that in a minute. But we go in, they got the alphabetical list. They have a nice little introductory to the actual Bible here. And where they talk about, God has spoken and his written word is the Bible. In an age of uncertainty, this is good news. His word is light in our darkness. You can know God and hear his voice today by reading the pages of his book. Here is pure truth you can trust. Amen. I would agree with every word of that. Again, these guys are Reformed, so if that's not your thing, just so you can know, but I still think this is extremely valuable to have. Reading the Bible experientially. So it says to read the Bible experientially simply means to read it with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength. This is how the Bible is intended to be read. I agree. I talk a lot on this channel about making the Bible your hobby. And I mean that in the sense that you actually apply yourself to reading it, right? You actually try to understand what it's saying, not just reading it for the sake of reading it, but you actually want to understand what it's saying and what it means and make it applicable. Now, something that they have here is they actually have an entire section talking about why they chose the King James Bible in particular. And I think it's extremely interesting, and I found it very, very, very good. So I'm not King James only, and I don't think they are, but they prefer the underlying text, the Textus Receptus, and they have a whole thing here. So I believe they would just be pro-TR, so they would like the New King James as well. But again, they went overkill on the notes here for this. So I think that very much so is a very, very in-depth discussion and very scholarly. I was surprised, not in a bad way, but in a good way, because a lot of times, you guys, there's so much information out there about the King James that's just flat out wrong. And this I thought was very, very good, very grounded and courteous, but at the same time, very, very well written. So I liked it. And then bam, we're right into the Old Testament. So nothing revolutionary here, but they've got an introduction to the Pentateuch, which is very good. Introduction to the book of Genesis. We have theme, purpose, issues of interpretation. Probably talk about the documentary hypothesis. The guys who compiled this are going to be very conservative. I mean, if them using the King James didn't cue you into that, so I would like that. I like that a lot. I'm very conservative myself, so that's something that I like. Interesting that over here they have a wide margin for notes, and then they shift the page over. So instead of normally they would scooch it in, the margin would be on the other side, they just mirrored it. So that's interesting. But let's get to the text itself. So right here, let's look at this. We have the book of Genesis. Very, very nice sized font. I believe it's actually a 13. They say 13. I'm guessing, I don't know if they have a different measure. I'm going to guess at least 11 or 12, somewhere in that range. So very readable, very easy to read. And then they've got these study notes down here at the bottom, which, again, nothing revolutionary. It's a study Bible, but something that they do have. They also have these articles inside the book, too. These nice little articles written by different things. So it says it's adapted from John Calvin's Institute of the Christian Religion. Again, no shock there because they are Reformed. But something that they have that I really like is at the end of every chapter, they have a section, Thoughts for Personal Family Worship. And they give these little questions, and it'll continue on to the other side, but they give these little notes about when you're reading through this with your family, right? If you're reading the Bible through with your family, then you can look at these notes. Here's the notes for chapter 2, and make it applicable. So here we go. 1, Thoughts for Personal Family Worship, chapter 2. So we have keep and cherish the Lord's Day, Isaiah 58, 13 through 14. The term Sabbath means cessation. Thus, the Sabbath is a day where normal activity is to stop. In the New Testament, Christ's resurrection marked the end of his meriting salvation for his people. Thus, the term Sabbath is mostly appropriate to commemorate that momentous day. So the Sabbath has now moved to Sunday. And here's a question. How can we guard this day as a special day of rest and communion with God? That's a good question. In other words, why do we rest on Sunday? Okay, which you should be. I think that's a good thing. Even if Sabbath is Saturday technically, but we as Christians typically worship on Sunday. You know, Paul said, don't make a big deal out of it. Whatever day you choose, just make sure you pick one. Anyway, I really like that. Now, again, the notes will probably have some Reformed theology, but that's not just be discerning. I would be discerning with anything, right? But this thing is chock full of all of these notes. Very good. The paper quality, I'm guessing it's about 28 GSM. So you can use Pigmar microns in it if you're a person that likes to mark. I tested in the back and it worked good, but it didn't bleed through. So you can use that, but I wouldn't use anything else. I would avoid, Pilot G2 gel pens because it'll bleed right through. It's very thin paper, but it's a study Bible, which is to be expected. They're trying to fit it all in here, and it's supposed to be cost effective. And these are pretty affordable. I think they're only around $70 sometimes. They are always going on sale too, so very good. But let's go to the back. I want to show you guys where the real cool stuff kicks in. So study helps wise, because obviously the Bible's the best part. Study helps. So they have how to live as a Christian. They've got all of these articles: coming to Christ, experiencing justification, adoption, united with Christ, growing in sanctification, assured and persevering, reading the scriptures, why and how we pray. So they got all these articles in the back. Being a godly wife, being a Christ-like husband, using leisure time well, serving God at work, facing sickness, right? Tons of just applicable information for the family, which I think is super cool. But this I've never seen before. 20 centuries of church history. For each century, they write an article all about it. So they summarize what happened in that century and key players, 2nd, 3rd century, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and they go all the way until modern day, 13th century. The beginning of modern theology and kingdom builders, that's the 19th century. And then the 20th century, the age of paradoxes, and they have a whole thing. Next, they have creeds and confessions. We got the Apostles' Creed, Nicene Creed, Athanasian Creed, Belgic Confession, Heidelberg Catechism, Canons of Dort, Westminster Confession, Westminster Shorter Catechism, Westminster Larger Catechism. So if you're a creeds and confessions guy, is this for you? I do like creeds and confessions. I think they're useful. So long as we don't mistake them for their proper place, if you know what I'm saying. Some guys like to elevate the creeds and confessions too highly, I think, for my taste. But anyway, the scripture is always a supreme authority. But still, these are very, very good, very valuable, very, very edifying in a lot of ways. So you guys, this thing is cool. And then you hit the end of it, and there's quite a few confessions. And we've got, weights and measures, cross-references, and then in the back, You got a concordance, which is really nice. It's pretty good, actually. I was surprised. A lot of times concordances, I kind of wish they either weren't there, or if they were there, there'd be more to offer. But these were actually pretty good. And then they got some maps. Nothing crazy. Some good, decent color maps. You know, very useful, very valuable. And then we hit the end. Paste down liner again. So you guys, these things are, I would really recommend you get one. If for no other reason, I like the notes, right? The notes are very interesting. Even if you want to see, oh, what would a Reformed guy say? Check them out. So I think they're super cool. And it was very, very generous of Reformation Heritage Books to send me both of these. I just asked for one, and they sent me, I thought they were going to send me a hardback, but they sent me 2 of their leather-bound ones, which is fantastic. Very nice, very kind and generous of them. So definitely check them out. Huge shout out to them. I'll put a link below to their company. That's not an affiliate link. It's just me saying thank you for them sending it to me. So definitely go check out their stuff. And like I said, these are always going on sale. I think right now I saw this one. This one actually might be a little bit cheaper, if I think correctly, but they're in like the $50 to $80 range, and they're always going on sale. So definitely it'll be worth it, especially if you're in the Reformed camp. I think that you would really like and benefit from these.